friends, welcome back to day 2 of our Holy Week craft kit. I'm Presbytera Mallory, and I'm in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I'm going to lead the lesson today. But before we get to that, I'm going to send it over to Alyssa, our other co-host, Miss Alyssa, so she can introduce herself to maybe some friends who weren't with us yesterday.
Hi, friends. So my name is Alyssa Karitzis. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in a little small town called Canonsburg. And just like we would do anything that we do in our lives, we are going to start off with a prayer. So if we can all bow our heads in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Behold, the bridegroom comes in the middle of the night. And blessed is he whose loins are girt, whose lamp is burning bright. But woe to that dull servant, whom the master shall surprise with lamp untrimmed, unburning, and with slumber in his eyes. Amen. Presbytera Mallory, take it away.
Thank you, Miss Alyssa. All right, so today is Monday, but just like Miss Alyssa told us yesterday, tonight when we go to church for the bridegroom service, we are going to read the passages and prepare for tomorrow, which is Holy Tuesday. And we do them tonight in preparation for tomorrow. Just like on Saturday night when we all go to church at 11 o'clock at night, getting ready for the vigil, it's for Pascha, because when the sun goes down is when we start to celebrate the next day. So it's a little confusing. But the story you're going to hear tonight is the lesson for Holy Tuesday. So that's where we are in the schedule. But the first thing we're going to do is Sophia decided she wanted to take a nap today because she's getting ready for church tonight. We're going to go on a little trip. So we're going to go on a hike. And I want to make sure that I got everything packed. So I packed a bag right here of everything we're going to need for our trip. So we're going to go on a hike in the forest. So I packed a baseball hat in case it's sunny. I packed an apple in case we get hungry. Oh, bug spray in case there's mosquitoes. What else did we pack? Oh, a camera so we can take pictures and remember it. What else did she pack? Walkie-talkies. Definitely are going to need these in case we get lost. Some sunscreen. A rain jacket. Definitely need this in case it rains. And a flashlight in case we get dark and it gets lost. Oh, and some sunglasses. I don't think these are going to fit me, but they would fit Sophia. So I think that's everything that we need for our trip. But the most important thing before we go on our trip, and the reason we packed all these things is because we want to be prepared. I don't know if any of our friends are maybe Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts or Scouts in their churches or in their schools, but the number one rule of Scouts, I remember from when I was little, was to always be prepared because you never know what could happen. It could rain and you need a rain jacket. There could be bugs and you need some bug spray. You could get lost and you need a walkie-talkie. All of these things have a meaning so that we're prepared and we don't miss anything, that we're ready for whatever comes our way. So to segue back tonight on Holy Tuesday, we read the parable of the 10 virgins. Now a parable, like Miss Alyssa kind of told us yesterday, is a story that we hear where Jesus is trying to teach us a lesson. And it's a story that might not teach it straight out to the point, but the way that Jesus tells us the story helps us realize something. So tonight's parable is about 10 virgins or 10 people who are getting ready to go to a wedding to welcome the bridegroom. The bridegroom being Jesus and the wedding being the second coming in heaven. So these 10 virgins are getting ready for the wedding and they all have an oil lamp with them. And they're using their oil lamp to light the way because there's no electricity back then. They didn't have a flashlight. They didn't have batteries. So they had an oil lamp and they're all holding their oil lamps and they're waiting and they're waiting. And as the story goes on, you hear that 5 of the virgins didn't bring any extra oil for their oil lamp. So what happened was their lights went out. And then the other 5 brought the oil so they could refill their oil lamps and keep their lights burning. So the 5 whose oil ran out, they had to go back and get more oil so that they could come back to the party. But by the time they came back, the bridegroom had already come. Jesus had already come. And so they missed Jesus. They missed the second coming because they weren't prepared. They weren't vigilant. Vigilance, the word that you're going to hear a lot tonight. And that means that we need to be prepared for anything that comes our way. We need to think about the things that we're going to need. Just like Sophia and I went on our hike today, we thought about the things that we were going to need. We were going to need an apple. We were going to need a rain jacket. We were going to need all of these things that were in our backpack so that we would be prepared for today. And so tonight at church, when we hear this story, we have to think about being prepared for Jesus to come. And during Lent, we've been talking about it for weeks now, about how to be prepared. And there's different things that we can do to be prepared. We can pray, we can fast, we can go to church and receive communion. We can love God with all of our heart and all of our soul. We can love our parents. We can love our brothers and sisters and help our brothers and sisters learn about Jesus and help them when they need help. These are all things that we can do to replenish our oil and our oil lights so that our lamps are full of oil and are ready, and we are vigilant and we are ready for the second coming. So that's a little bit about the story that we hear tonight. And when you read the story, or if you hear it tonight at church, now you'll know when they talk about the bridegroom, they're talking about Jesus. And it talks about being ready and being vigilant and prepared for his coming. That's going to happen later this week, we hear about. So today, Alyssa has a super fun craft for us to make an oil lamp, just like we hear in the story tonight. So Alyssa, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Presbytera. So first of all, I'd love to say that I was creative enough to come up with this amazing idea, but all credit is due to Orthodox Pebbles. So if you haven't checked out her website at all, I would highly recommend it. She has amazing content and crafts for feasts throughout the entire year. So today we are going to make our own oil lamps. So you can see mine is made of paper. It's really cool. So Presbytera Mallory spoke a lot about oil lamps, and some of us may be wondering, like, what is the purpose of an oil lamp? What's an oil lamp? Well, this is a little idea of what one may have looked like, but they weren't made out of paper. They could be made of clay, maybe glass, and they were used in early times before they had electricity. So if you were to walk into a room and it was dark, you could go to your light switch and turn on the light, and you would be good. You can see. They didn't have light switches then. They didn't have anything called electricity. So the way that they lit up rooms so people could see what they were doing, the way they were able to give themselves heat was through these oil lamps. So we are going to make our own. And for those of you that are going to the bridegroom service tonight, I would recommend bringing your oil lamp with you. And you should make sure that you show your priest after service, because I guarantee you will probably be the only one there prepared with your very own oil lamp. So let's get started on how to make this. Okay, so this is our list of supplies. We have a template from the Orthodox Pebbles packet for Holy Week. If you don't have this packet printed, that is totally fine. You can draw your own. So what you'll do is you'll make kind of a swoop. It's like, it almost looks like a little, if you ever use a gravy boat, that's kind of what this looks like. But just make sure that you add a large square on the bottom so that we can attach both sides just fine. So you'll need the template. You'll need crayons or markers, colored pencils. I kind of have a mix of all of those. You'll need some tape. You will need scissors. And you can either use tissue paper if you have tissue paper. I personally do not. So I am just going to use a piece of construction paper that I'm going to color and cut. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do, if you haven't drawn your template, you can go ahead and do that now. If you have a template, we're going to begin by coloring. So there is no right or wrong color. You can pick whatever color you want to make your lamp. So the first one I did was brown with purple hearts, but this one I'm going to make blue because I love the color blue. So the easiest way to do this, don't worry about coloring in the lines, just color the whole thing because we're going to cut it out. So I typically just go crazy. I know most of you are probably very experts at coloring in the lines. I can just tell. But this time, go nuts. You don't need to do that. So color your lamps. And you won't need to color this bottom square here because that's where we're going to tape or glue. If you have glue, you can use that as well. But I found tape was a little easier because you didn't have to wait for it to dry. So now you're going to color your second one. Oh, this is going to be so bright and beautiful. I think I'm going to give this one to my husband to use tonight. So we'll each have our own lamp to bring to church. Okay. And I personally want to color in the little heart designs as well. If you want to be, decorative with this, you can put stickers if you have your favorite stickers. Like I know I have some Paw Patrol stickers upstairs that my son just loves. So maybe he can decorate one. You can do glitter if you have glitter glue, anything you want to put on this. The possibilities are endless. Like I said, there's no right or wrong. So I'm going to color my hearts purple. So I'm going to have purple and blue. What a fun oil lamp color. I'm going to assume probably not too many oil lamps in the early years were purple and blue, but who knows? Maybe there was one. Perfect. So color, color, color. And we'll do the other one as well. Can you guys show me what you're working on? I want to see what colors you're making. Oh, wow, I see a brown one. Oh my goodness, pink hearts. Oh, these are awesome. And the beautiful thing about these oil lamps is every single one that you're making is going to be different from somebody else's. And that just shows also how unique and how different each of us are. And I think Presbytera Mallory spoke about this yesterday when we were making our palms, that everybody's look different. And that's okay because we are all different and that's an amazing thing to be. So next what we'll do after you're done coloring, and if you're still decorating, take your time, we're in no rush. But the next step will be to cut out your template. You're going to cut along the lines. If you're a little nervous with scissors, or if you need a parent's help, this is the time that they will help you. And that is okay. So make sure you cut around this square. You don't cut here. This is where you fold. So you cut the whole square out. Make sure you don't cut that off. That is an important piece of the puzzle. Oil lamp. Oh, I am so excited to show my priest my oil lamp. We actually, at our church, we have 2 priests that are serving this week. So maybe I'll give each of them one of my oil lamps. So for this part, you're going to make sure that you also cut this little section out. And this can be kind of tricky. So what I recommend is bending it and take your scissors and just do a little snip. And then you can stick the scissor in that hole that you just cut and cut around, because this is your little handle. That's what you'll use to hold. Great. All right, so I have my first piece cut out and ready to go. So let's cut out the second piece. I cannot wait. Presbytera Mallory, what color is your lamp going to be?
So I actually made my lamp out of yellow construction paper. So it already looks yellow. I didn't color it, but we drew a design on it and we put some glitter glue on it. So it'll hopefully be nice and shiny like gold when we're done.
That's, Presbytera, that is a really smart idea. If you know,
Yeah.
you don't like coloring, you don't want to color, or you just want that solid colored look, put it on construction paper. I love that.
Yeah, it was super simple, and I drew it. I didn't even use the template. I just drew it myself, so it looks a little different, but I still have the handle and the spout. And the big part, the body of it, where the oil would be.
That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that, Presbytera.
I see a question from Kelly. She's asking us where the template is on the site. So on the Orthodox Pebbles website, there is a page for our event. And in that page, there's a packet to download that has all of the templates. But we'll make sure that the link is in the chat feature so you can find the template if you need it.
Thank you for your question. That was a great question. Okay, so once we have both our templates cut out, we have our handles ready. Next, we're going to prepare our flame. So for those that do not have tissue paper, you're going to follow what I do. For those that do have tissue paper, you can take little sections and twist them, or if you want to cut them out in the shape of like a little flame, you can see this was my little flame, whatever you're more comfortable with. So that's what you'll do for yours. For those that don't have tissue paper, you'll just get a piece of paper, and I made kind of like a little teardrop. That's sort of the best way to describe it. Just a little teardrop, a little oval type shape, and I'm going to color it in and then cut it out. And again, this is the fun coloring where you don't need to color in the lines. Love it. That's my specialty. And then you'll just cut your little flame out. Perfect. I do need to color a little more of it. Great. Okay. So the next step, you're going to take your flame, and you actually, oh, sorry, I almost skipped one. You need to color the opposite side as well, because you're going to see the flames from both sides. So you want to make sure that both sides are colored. Again, if you have tissue paper, you are all set. Okay. So once you have that situated, choose one of your lamps, and you're going to go on the side you didn't color and tape your flame down. So get a little piece of tape. If you have glue, you can also use a little bit of glue, and just tape your flame right into place, just like this. So if you can see, I taped it down here, but when you flip it over, you'll see just a little part of it. Okay. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to line up our two lamp templates. So you make sure you have your colored edges on the outside. You guys see how I did that? So the parts I didn't color are on the inside, and those are the parts that will attach together. So what you'll do, you're going to line up your handles. That's kind of the easiest way. Someone wants to see an example of the flame. No problem. So I'm gonna actually do this. Hi.
Hi.
So what I did.
It says also with tissue paper. So you show them,
I'm so
and then I'll
sorry.
do ours. But show them how you draw it on the paper.
Sure, I can do that. So basically, we'll just do this. I had a little mess up over here. I just did a little teardrop shape like this. And then I colored that in and cut it out. Just a little teardrop, makes it pretty simple. And Presbytera, you said you have the tissue paper?
I did. So I made mine out of tissue paper. So I used orange tissue paper. And what I did is I just folded the tissue paper, kind of like an accordion, like this. Then I cut on the top, and I cut up the side, so it made the little stacked rectangle. And then from there, I just used my scissors and I gently cut some triangles into it so that it looked like a little bit like a flame. Because fire, sometimes when it burns, looks like it has a pointed edge at the top. So it kind of looks like this. And then when you unfold it, you can crinkle it back up to make it look like a little bush of fire. So at the top are my points, and on the bottom it's flat. So then I can glue this in between my two oil lamps like this. See how I have it glued in? Just like I would glue in the paper, I just glued in a little bunch of tissue paper that had a pointed top, so it looks like a little flame.
Thank you so much for showing us that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. So hopefully that was helpful to you guys. And I will say from my angle, it looked like you were holding fire in your hand. So one of our friends asked, what colors should our flame be? So typically fires, you can do oranges, reds, yellows, if you want to do a mixture of all three. But if you want to do a purple flame, do a purple flame. This is your oil lamp. You can do what your heart tells you to do. Again, there's no right or wrong answer in making this oil lamp. Okay, so now that we have our templates done, we're going to line them up. So I would recommend lining up the handles, and you're going to take a little piece of tape. Make sure you're nice and gentle. It can be kind of sharp, and you're going to tape right in the middle on the tops. Let me see, get the angles right in the middle. You're going to tape these two pieces together. So if I unfold this, you'll see that they're attached. So we tape those. Next, what we're going to do is tape around our flame. So we're going to tape the top part so that it doesn't wiggle around too much. So we'll do that. I did the top and I did the bottom because my flame was a little loose in mine. And I think for those that have tissue paper, you'll probably need a little more support as well, just because it's so thick. Okay, so now we have the top taped. And then what we're going to do, you're going to see this whole little square on the bottom. Where you guys see this little dotted line, you're going to fold the paper. So you're going to fold it backwards you're going to fold it toward the other lamp piece that you just taped. So you'll see that this colored part is supposed to be on the ground, and you're going to actually tape or glue, whatever you prefer, the other piece here. So let me show that one more time. This is a little confusing. So if this is the inside of my lamp, I'm going to fold the part that says glue here towards my lamp, and I'm going to tape mine. So I did a little loop of tape, but you can also glue it. That's fine too, whatever you prefer. So I did a little loop, popped it there, and then you're going to connect the tape just like that. And guess what, friends? You have your oil lamp. You guys, we did it. We made our oil lamps. I have two now, which is pretty awesome. My blue one and my brown one. So you guys should be done with your oil lamps. If you have any questions or anything was confusing, let us know. We're happy to help. But this, I again would recommend bringing this to church tonight. Make sure you show your nuna, your friends, your priests, and explain to them what this is. This is your oil lamp that comes from the parable that Presbytera Mallory taught us today and that you'll hear tonight. Presbytera?
Yeah, I'm so glad they look so good. I see some people are also using the Holy Week craft kit that Orthodox Pebbles mailed to some people. So I see them holding up the templates that they cut out, and they put some of the tissue and the gauze that they have in different colors, and they look so beautiful.
Yeah, Athena, I see yours. It's really cool.
No, some of these are so beautiful. And like Miss Alyssa said, they can be all different colors. So I see pink ones and red ones, and I just think these oil lamps are so great. So this is such a fun craft. Now, the second part that we're going to kind of talk about real quick before we run out of time is on the Orthodox Pebbles website. There was a second part of this lesson, and that was making a real oil lamp. And we decided that was a little too dangerous for all of us to do by ourselves. So for those who have parents at home, all of this information's on the website. You guys can look it up, but there are instructions about how to make an oil lamp out of a orange, which Sophia and I actually did today, and I haven't tried to light it, so we're gonna see if it lights. So what you do is you take an orange and you cut it in half this way. So it looks like a little bowl, like this. So see how I just cut it straight in half? And then on the inside, your parents are going to have to take a knife and work very carefully to cut out all of the fruit. But they need to make sure that they keep this wick in the middle. This is part of the orange, on the inside of the orange. So the instructions say that we need to fill our oil lamp with oil. just like we have to fill our souls with oil, and they have to be prepared with prayer and fasting and all of these things that we talked about from the parable. So let's fill our oil lamp. Let's see. All right, we filled it up. And I'm just using olive oil, but I think you can use probably any type of oil that you would have at home. And then very carefully, gonna need a grown-up's help for this part too, is you're gonna light it. Let's see if I can light this one. I don't know if it's gonna light. It says to make it the day before and see, oh, you can see a little bit of smoke. I don't know if you can see it. It's smoldering on the inside, but if you use do it the day before and let your orange sit out overnight, I bet you it'll light better because it'll be dried out a little bit. So this is a fun craft that you guys can do at home. Oh, it's smoking. I don't know if you can see the smoke. See it? We lit our oil lamp. And because there's oil in it, it should light for a couple hours. So this is another craft that you guys can do at home to make your own oil lamps using an orange, olive oil, a really sharp knife. So that's where your parents are going to have to help you. And you too can make your little oil lamp at home. So we just wanted to show you what that was like. But again, make sure you guys have parents to help you with that. I don't want anyone trying to go find an orange on the counter and cut it open themselves. So, but the instructions, again, we'll make sure they're on the website, but we'll make sure they're in the chat so you guys can try this experiment at home too tonight while you're either watching the bridegroom service, or if you can attend the services in person, you guys can try this when you get home after you take your priest, your oil lamp, of course, like Miss Alyssa said. And for those who are watching them at home, remember OCN has a whole list on their website of all the live streaming services from all over the country and from all over the world. So it's kind of cool to watch. I know the other night, Sophia and I watched Miss Alyssa's church, and we got to pray with her and be a part of her liturgy. So being online is always a great way to spend some time together for Holy Week. And we're super grateful that you guys got to spend some time with us today. We hope you guys learned something and enjoyed making our little oil lamps. I know I can't wait to show Father Samson ours when he gets home. He's going to love it so much. So anyway, tomorrow, Miss Alyssa, we are going to be doing another craft. And for that craft, we need a couple other materials. So do you have the list in front of you? Do you remember what we need?
I can. So we have a template that we'll need from the website. So make sure you guys print the packet. We'll need crayons, markers, colored pencils, preferably at least some coloring things that have a thin tip because we'll need to color on popsicle sticks. We will also need popsicle sticks. And if you have colored construction paper, you can bring that along as well. And also scissors. And that should be pretty much it.
Well, tomorrow we're going to do something special. We're doing the perfume tomorrow. So for those who are going to be able to do the perfume with us tomorrow, again, it's a craft that's a little bit more hands-on. So for that,
that's right. Yeah, sorry. We need a small jar and then different scented items. Yeah, so cloves, if you have vanilla at home, anything along those lines. There's a full list on the website that you can look. And then you'll need a small little cup, and I'm going to use a spoon personally to kind of grind it all together.
Yeah, it'll be really cool. I see a question from Maria asking us how to attach the papers again. So
I can do that.
All right,
I'm on it. All right, let me detach mine. So you have your two separate papers. Oh, sorry. Okay, so you have your two separate papers. Let me make them separate again. Okay. One moment. All right, so you have your two separate papers. You're going to take the colored part of your papers and put them on the outside. So you're going to make sure the uncolored parts are touching. You're going to line up the two sides, and you're going to put a piece of tape right on the top. You're going to put a piece of tape around the flame, around the tip of your oil lamp. And for the bottom part, so this piece has the full bottom part with it. You're going to fold it on the dotted line, and you're going to fold it backwards. So basically you're going to make a base. So this is what is going to sit on your table or wherever you put your oil lamp. So you're going to fold it back, put a piece of tape or glue where it says glue here, and you're going to attach that to your other side so that you have like it's almost like a little triangle you can see on the inside. And that will enable it to stand up. Maria, Adi, and Kyriakos, did that help? I hope so.
I hope that helped. So, well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We hope you guys had fun. We hope you learned something. And tonight, when you go to church or you watch it at home on your TV or on your computer, and you hear the word vigilance and you hear about the oil lamps, you'll know exactly what your priest is talking about. And I bet you'll be able to even tell maybe your mom or dad or sister something that maybe you learned with us today. So
yeah, I love that. Make sure you bring your oil lamps with you tonight. Show your friends, show your priest, enjoy it.
We're taking ours. All right. Bye, friends. Thank you guys so much for spending